Hello and welcome to my face. It is shaved since the last time that I made a video. That's not important. What is important is this artwork slaps so hard. It slaps so hard. I was initially going to be thinking, oh, it's it's War of the Roses. Yeah, obviously we have the rose banner here, but this one over here, I don't know. I think this is a fantasy scenario because I don't actually recognize this banner. It is certainly not Lancaster or York. It is no idea. I have no idea what this is. But the art slaps all the same, which is lovely. And what else would, in fact, slap is if you hit the subscribe button, because I'm trying to get to higher subscriber numbers, and would be great if you would help me out with that. That'd be kind of neat. That'd be kind of cool. But let's have a look at the 61st Tinto Talk, and let's pop that out of the way. And yes, let us get into it. The entirely super top secret game with the codename Project Caesar that we are going to be talking about today. We're going to be looking at the mechanics of the Protestant religions and the final situation involving all Western Christian confessions, the war of religions. First, we differentiate the three main Protestant religions: Lutheranism, Calvinism, and Anglicanism, which is already very much different from EU4, where we had Protestant and we had Anglican and we had Reformed, right? That was a little bit different. All the different branches of Protestantism, more or less strictly covered under these wide denominations, are later represented through church aspects, a mechanism we'll describe now. The underlying system here is for every player to be able to customize their own Protestant church. As an example, the early Anglican church funded, both actually kind of true, by Henry VIII, was very different from the Anglican church that developed in the time of James I, and the further division that then happened with the Puritans. We aim to portray dynamically these theological aspects with church aspects, therefore. Cool. Alright, so we're having a look at the Lutherans first, or a Lutheran country first. He's using the same save as last week's Tinto Talk. The Reformation was born in Perugia in Italy. After a couple of years, it's already spread to some countries, of which Denmark is the largest. Fair enough. So, an overview of Lutheranism and its religious panel. We have Lutheranism here, giving clergy estate satisfaction. We get some monthly religious influence. We get tax efficiency. I feel like these are not really something that you're gonna notice as a difference. Like, I'm pretty sure Catholic probably gives something along these lines as well, right? You're gonna get religious influence if you are a Catholic. Your clergy will be satisfied if they are Catholic and you are Catholic, and that's just how that works. I think the thing that's different here is the tax efficiency. This is like, unless this is just part of the Christian religion group, and this is what you get as part of the Christian religion group. But I'm not sure. I'm going to look. Okay, no, this is what you get for being a Catholic. There's a lot more in here than we have here. But the religious influence is in fact there, and now you're getting literacy for clergy there, reformed desire, all that kind of good stuff. Monasteries allowed. Here, the clergy is a bit more satisfied if you're a Lutheran rather than if you're a Catholic. And yeah, the tax efficiency should probably be pretty good. So, 11 countries in that save have the Lutheran faith: Denmark, Schleswig, Perugia, Dawn, Prüm, Pesaro, and Gubbio. Based on Martin Luther's 95 Theses, Lutheranism began as a call to reform the Catholic Church, but evolved into a distinct Protestant denomination. It teaches that the Old and New Testament scriptures are the sole infallible authority for Christian doctrine. So here we have the religion again, primary religion tolerance. This is, I guess, whoever we're playing as, this is their religious unity and how much they've got going on. But we can add in religious aspects here. And I guess we'll see what aspects we're going to be able to add. But as for actions, you can dissolve the monasteries. Probably get yourself quite a bit of money by doing that. Deport heretics and grant rulers divorces if you so desire. Similar to Catholicism and other religions, it also uses the religious influence as a currency. It is a value of the ability that a country has to interact with and influence members of its primary religion. Depending on the religion, the uses of it will be different, as well as the ways for a country to acquire it. Okay. This currency is used to add or change religious aspects to your church, and also allows us to perform religious actions, of which we can't currently perform any, as we don't fulfill any of the triggers. Fair enough. Let's take a look at now the religious aspects. Okay, firstly, I want to talk about this because I am fully 100% aware and acutely in tune with the idea that some people are going to immediately be like, ah, this is mana. I don't like mana. This is mana. I don't like silly little points. And yeah, no, I agree. Mana is bad. I am okay with this. This is a small part of the game. This is a small subsection. This is just to do with religion and religious actions. And in the same way that I am fine with the political influence in Imperative Rome, I am also fine with religious influence here in EU5. That's not a problem for me. I think, yeah, that I think when you are going to compare something to mana, and I am going to talk about this because I know there's going to be people that are going to think like this. I think when you're looking at mana and how mana equals bad, you really have to compare it to EU4 and how mana is used there. And it is an overarching system of which you can pretty easily compare 1-to-1, like the amount of mana that a country can generate versus their power, their skill, their not skill, but their general level of influence in the world, their how powerful they are. Generally, and I'm looking a lot at multiplayer here, the amount of mana that a country generates is pretty much 1-to-1 with how strong they are as a country. Not always, and it's not quite simple, but generally. Here, I don't see that being the case, not even a little bit. So I am perfectly happy and fine with religious influence here. It is a mana. It is not the big demon that mana is in EU4. Anyway, let's have a look at the religious aspects. Some religions have aspects that further specialities. Specializes, potentially, maybe something that could be reworded here, maybe. There are plenty of aspects that can be either shared between the different Protestant religions or be unique to them. This is the list of all the aspects available to Lutheran churches, and you're able to, I guess, mix and match which ones you want. I wonder how many you're going to be able to have. Anyway, we have adult baptism, giving you more happiness for your peasants. Pop conversion speed, monthly progress to innovative. Innovative is the opposite of traditional. So I have thought when we were looking at these society, I forget the name of them, but whatever they're called. I have thought that innovative looked better than traditional. I suppose it changes from country to country, but this seems quite nice to me. And here, traditionalist is the other side of that coin. Appointment of bishops, clergy power plus 50% seems crazy strong, but distance cost to capital minus 5% also seems crazy strong. This is what really determines how much control each of your provinces and locations have. And, if you have high control, you get more taxes out of those locations, and that is good for your country. So, yeah, this is a really powerful modifier. This is also really powerful, but in the negative direction. So, yeah, you have to kind of weigh up which one you think is worth it here. We have asceticism, crown power minus 10%. Not sure I like that. I like my high crown power. Monthly progress to spiritualist and makes your court cost cheaper. Okay. Bread and wine, giving more food production and wine output. This seems really nice as well. More food seems like a really good idea to me. Clerical poverty, clergy estate satisfaction, volatility. Not a clue what that means. I mean, I know what the words mean, but no idea what it means in game. There's been no, I don't think we've seen anything talking about volatility so far. But if we have, and I'm forgetting it, let me know in the comments down below. So select which religious acts. I hope that's not all of them. Oh yeah, no, it absolutely is. It absolutely is all of them. Unless these are also aspects. I don't know why we were getting a whole new tab. Yeah, I don't know why there's a whole new tab, but either way. We can have crown as head of faith, giving more crown power, monthly control, progress decentralization. I like this. I will use this. This seems really, really good. Freedom to preach, giving a clergy estate satisfaction equilibrium down, negative. Tolerance of heretics and progress to individualism. I guess the opposite of this is communalism, if I remember correctly. We have individual creeds giving pop assimilation speed, monthly rebel growth modifier, and then also more individualism. Cool, that seems really nice. Justified conflict, antagonism, impact minus 10%. The war score cost goes down, and monthly progress to belligerent. This also seems quite nice. As for monasticism, we have the max literacy for clergy. Okay, I think I know what it is. It's just, he scrolled. This is the scroll bar at the top. This is it in the middle bit. Okay, I apologize. I now understand why we're having it in different tab. Of course. Anyway, we have max literacy for the clergy. Lets you have the monasteries, so hopefully you didn't, raid them already. And then monthly progress to spiritualist. I have forgotten what the opposite of spiritualist is, but maybe it'll be one of these that we see and I'll be able to say. Anyway, we have parish registers giving possible clerics plus 10 and then 5 tax efficiency. What we've learned so far from the comments that Johan has made is that the efficiency things are really quite good. I think I remember him having a comment saying, replying to somebody who said, oh, plus 1 or 2% tax or trade efficiency, those seem really weak. And his response was, no, they're actually really strong. To the point where he was considering nerfing them. So 5% tax efficiency seems pretty good to me. We have pietism giving max literacy. That seems really good as well. Innovativeness and communalism progress too. Nice. We have sola fide, solafide. There we go. We have monthly progress to free subjects. I don't think that's the opposite of that. Pops joining rebel threshold goes down. Peasant estate satisfaction equilibrium, also quite nice. And then we have sola scriptura, giving more literacy and progress to individualism. Very nice indeed. That seems pretty good. I think I would probably go for that. More literacy seems really nice. Soli Deo Gloria, giving the skill of new artist plus 10%, artist monthly start chance plus 10%, and monthly progress to plutocracy, which I believe is the opposite of not monarchy, but of aristocracy. Anyway, we have the translated Bibles giving estates, just in general, all of them, satisfaction equilibrium, plus 10% max literacy. That seems really good, and also progress to innovative. I think this is something else that I would probably use. We have usury allowed, giving less interest from the banks. Income from minting plus 5% also seems quite nice. And then a monthly progress to capital economy. I forget what the opposite of capital economy is. I apologize. And then we have war sermons, giving more possible clerics. Army morale recovery speed plus 2%. And monthly progress to belligerent. Very cool. Opposite of belligerent, I think, is conciliatory. But don't take my word from that. I have a terrible memory. And this is what it looks like when you decide to pick one of them. So gets added in there. Costs 50 religious power points. All right, cool. The number of religious aspects that can define each church is 3, although that's subject to review as usual. It's possible to have entirely different and unique aspects per religion, since it's scriptable and a moddable feature. Furthermore, religious aspects can have an impact on the relations a country has with others who use religious aspects. Since the aspects are partially shared between the faiths, this could lead to unlikely friendships and hostilities. Let's move on to the next religion. We have Calvinism. It's quite similar in structure to Lutheranism. It also spawns during the Reformation situation. It has a Calvinist preachers that spread it and also uses religious aspects and actions. Very cool. So, Calvinist preachers is a building type. Again, we're having buildings be people in this, but okay. Gives a monthly religious conversion, plus 1%. Seems reasonable. You can build it in rural towns and also in cities. As members of the Reformation of the Catholic faith, the Calvinist preachers represents the local missionaries of the Calvinist faith who spread their teachings to all nearby Catholic people. And Calvinism as a religion here, we have the satisfaction equilibrium, we have some religious influence, retreat delay plus 10. I wonder why that is. We'll get on to that. Discipline plus 5%. Artist monthly start chance -10. Everything is preordained. We have seen this before. What this means is, if you start a battle, and you know what, a good way to do this is, well, I was going to try and find one of the military screens, but I believe they probably don't look much like these anymore. This one here I'm looking for. The UI that we've seen in later dev diaries looks very different from this, and also it's not actually showing what I thought it was going to show. But essentially, what we've learned, I think it was actually in the comments of that dev diary just shown, is that if you are Calvinist, when you are in a battle and you are rolling dice to determine how well you do in that battle tick, if you have everything as preordained, the first dice roll you have is the dice roll you have for the entire battle. And so if you roll a 1 instead of a 6, you are going to be kind of sucking in that battle, whereas your opponent is re-rolling every few hours. I don't recall exactly how many. It might be every 5 hours or so. They get to re-roll the dice. Maybe they do better, and maybe they do worse. But generally, it kind of usually comes out as average, unless I'm playing multiplayer and we're watching the dice, and then I always roll worse than my opponent. But in here, you roll that first dice, and that's the one you keep the entire time. Which means, you know, if you roll badly, you of course want to retreat instantly. You want to retreat as soon as possible so you can, you know, restart a new battle and maybe get a better roll. But you can't. You have to wait until you can retreat, which is going to take a long time. So this is a very interesting religion. A very interesting religion. Also, 5% discipline. Seems kind of nice. Does seem kind of nice. Named after John Calvin, Calvinism is a significant branch of Protestantism rooted in the principles of simplicity in worship and the supremacy of the Holy Bible. Its doctrine emphasizes predestination, asserting that God has preordained the destiny of all creation. Very cool. And then moving in here, these religious actions are the same, and we also have religious aspects to choose from. All right, let's see what kind of aspects we have. Fun fact, Calvin has ended up being the bishop of Basel in his save game. Very cool. Finally, they have Anglicanism. The Protestant religion doesn't trigger through the situation, but as an event for England that may trigger after the Reformation is active. So this is apparently what Anne Boleyn looks like. The unwillingness of Era, current wife, get name. Shocking. I can't believe Era, current _ wife .get name couldn't even have a baby. God, shocking. Or a male baby even. Remains a cause of great concern for character, who's grown weary, and instead has become infatuated with the tenacious Lady Anne Boleyn. In an attempt to secure her hand in marriage, he has dispatched an envoy to the Pope requesting dispensation to annul his current marriage, which is immediately refuted in accordance with canon law. The eager king is now considering more drastic steps to allow the marriage, including a complete break from papal authority. So, historically, how this happened? In 1521, Henry VIII of England earned the papal title Defender of the Faith for his anti-Luther pamphlet. His focus shifted to the issue of succession in 1529 when the papal curia rejected his divorce proposal to Catherine of Aragon. Subsequently, Henry executed the Pope's legate, Cardinal Wolsey, and compelled the English clergy to acknowledge him as the church's supreme head. Securing his divorce in 1533, Henry married Anne Boleyn, marking it the second of his 6 marriages. The act of supremacy solidified his authority over the church. So historically, that's what happened, so take him out of the church. Ignore the broken localization. It appears that because he used console command to trigger it. Yeah, maybe if he was married to, if his king was married to somebody before firing this event, that might not have happened as it did. But either way, fun that we got that. If we decide to take command of the church, a new religion is created. So, creates Lady Anne Boleyn as a character. Any Catholic pops convert to Anglicanism. They convert to Anglicanism religion. You lose some stability. Her assertive and ambitious nature, as well as her involvement in court politics, antagonizes the Lords, and the Lords lose 10 satisfaction. Anglicanism religion is now founded. Very cool. So, Anglicanism. A new heresy has appeared in Christianity. Clearly, these are people who do not understand that the only truth is the Catholicism faith. So as a religion, what we have here is plus 5% max literacy, building cost minus 5%, and obviously we have the religious influence again. Anglicanism is a form of Christianity which the head of the state is also the supreme governor of the church. Theologically and institutionally, Anglicanism retains many elements of Catholicism while also being influenced by Reformed, Puritans, and Continental Lutheran beliefs. So, these guys have way more actions. So we have the dissolved monasteries as usual. We have militarized religious icons. We have Reformation diplomacy, deporting heretics like the others. Encourage innovativeness, progress of supreme governor, and grant ruler divorce. Anglicanism seems like it has just more going on than the other Protestant religions. Very cool. Last but not least, we have a couple of religions that also share the religious aspects but are not necessarily tied to the Reformation situation. This includes Lollardy and Hussitism, which we created together with their corresponding Reformer and the earlier Catholic heresies of Bogomalism, I always struggle to pronounce that, Catharism, Paulicianism, Paulism, and Waldensian. The last feature we're going to take a look at today is another situation, the War of Religions. This is the ending to all the narratives related to the Catholic and Protestant churches, a fight for the religious supremacy over Europe, centered over the Holy Roman Empire with the 30 Years' War as inspiration. Very cool. Also, again, just such a big fan of this artwork. It slaps so hard. It just does. It just straight up does. The princes of the Holy Roman Empire have torn themselves apart in the chaotic situation in the wake of the Reformation. Their descent into confessions and religious factions has weakened the empire as a whole and could open the window of opportunity for us, or drag us into a conflict of scale far beyond our imagination. We will, in fact, keep a close eye on it, which gives you the War of Religions. It's possible to align with the interest of the Catholic powers or of the Holy Roman Empire or the opposing Protestant powers. After several decades of religious strife, the conflict about the practice of Christian worship in the Holy Roman Empire has reached a point where armed conflict between the Protestant Union and the Catholic League seems impossible to avoid. While these organizations of imperial princes are mainly concerned with the protection of their respective faiths, many European powers look at the empire in turmoil with greedy eyes. No matter if with religious fervor or worldly desire, the powers of Europe are preparing their armies for a fight, as the peace of the empire hangs in a delicate balance. Alright, very cool. Two international organizations will be created, the Protestant Union and the Catholic League. So the Protestant Union is a defensive alliance of countries of the Reformation which want to protect themselves from the growing hostilities of the Catholic states of the Holy Roman Empire. Although founded by states of the Lutheran and Calvinist faiths, every member of the empire who feels threatened by the overzealous counter-reformers may join this international organization. As for the Catholic League, it's a defensive alliance of Catholic countries that desire to contain the growing influence and spread of the Reformation within the Holy Roman Empire. Although inherently Catholic, Lutheran and Calvinist states can join too if they see political advantage from working within the League. And this is the panel for the situation, which both sides, their relative strengths, and the possibility to join one side or the other, etc. So, the amount of pops each side has: 439,000 Lutherans versus 48 million Catholics. Okie dokie. I don't know what this... This is a dynasty shield, not a country. I think the country is Mansfeld, is the emperor. Okay. And then Kaiburg is the Reformation people. Fair enough. So you can join or you can negotiate member removal. That's cool. In order to end the War of Religions, either the Protestant Union or the Catholic League must claim hegemony in the Holy Roman Empire by enforcing the religious supremacy through the Religious Superiority War. The Peace of Westphalia is achieved instead when 80% of all participants desire peace. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So an inconclusive result may lead to the negotiation of the Peace of Westphalia between the members of both leagues and will alter the religious laws of the Holy Roman Empire. So, that is all for today, but next week, Johan is coming back to show more of the most recent changes and tweaks in the game. Fantastic. Looking forward to that, and I hope you guys are too. So, what did we learn? What do we think? What do we feel about this dev diary? I've in EU4, the majority of my playtime has been in Europe, and I've always been very disappointed, let's say, when I get to the League War and it's just kind of a rollover, right? there's nothing in here to say that that's not going to be the case. But I do hope that it won't be. I do hope that we get a little bit more of a balance when it comes to the League War. We'll see how that ends up being balanced, but I'm optimistic. I am optimistic. Other than that, I think religiously, the new religions here seem very interesting. Anglican especially looks really, really interesting. Lots of religious actions there. I'm a big fan of these aspects. I think they being able to customize your religion, it seems very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty positive. I'm pretty happy with what we're seeing here. But you need to let me know in the comment section below what you feel and what you think and what you are excited about, what you are interested in, and are you planning in your first game, if you are planning to play in Europe in your first game, to explore one of the new religions. I mean, you will have played the Catholic religion for, what, 150 plus years before all of this kicks off and starts. So, you know, are you going to plan to change to one of the other religions and explore that as well? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.